We're not going to stop these things from occurring and evolving. That's the harsh reality as well. Like you can be like, oh, we should AI make it stop.
No,
it's not.
No, it's already gone.
That train's gone. Yeah,
that stallion is gone.
So now it's like, well, how can we, like I guess a really good example I heard someone else talking about, like with AI, where I guess like nuclear was a really good example. Like, you can't go back on that. It is what it is. But what you can do is be like, how can we leverage this for energy, power, all these other things as well? Now, while it can, your example, I guess, with the knife sort of thing is very similar here. It can be used to blow up a whole country, or we could use it to run a whole country. There's such like diversity in that as well. And with the AI, like it's people obviously like, well, what about when the bad people get it? It's like, well, the good people will also have it. We hope that they have more funding, they have more ability to try and make this thing even better. And so they should even each other out. That doesn't mean it's not a little bit scary and a little bit unknown. It is. And unlike the internet, and I think it is at that step, obviously I don't want to be that guy that was when the internet first came out, because I wasn't, that wasn't around for me, at least in a understanding sort of way. I don't want to have that same mentality that so many people had with the internet. It's going to fucking ruin us. It's this, it's the end of the world, da 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 da. But I will say the difference is the internet did nothing without you doing something. AI is very different. It ultimately has a brain. And Mo Gawdat, I think he used to work at Google. He talked about this on, and it was that what are emotions? Emotions are really based on past events and things we've experienced. That's emotions. That's how you know that if I say something mean to you, that is something mean. That's how if I punch you, that's probably not a good thing. You understand that might feel bad. Well, what if these AI can absorb so much more experiences? They can read the whole internet. They can be in every camera system. They can do all those sort of things. They're going to be more emotional than us, and therefore they're also more intelligent. That's an interesting sort of path, but we can't change that. It's going to happen.
Yeah, 100%.
What do you want to do about it?
Yeah, the cat's been let out of the bag. I've been listening to a lot of Joe Rogan, and he, his belief is going into the artificial intelligence. Is, I think we just touched based on that at the gym, and it was going into like, if we don't need to piss, shit, eat, reproduce, but we've got everything with our brain has, that's pretty elite, and we don't need to sleep. That's a pretty epic human being.
I'll take that.
Epic, amazing human being that's fucking on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
And you go into aliens or whatever it is, and have been around for so many billions of years. But you think of like, that's what opens my mind, is like you look at all the alien photos and all the things and that, and they've got no eyes, they've got no mouth, they've got these little heads, they're little look like they've been living underground. All these things. Maybe they are someone, from us from the future in millions and millions of years from now. And I don't know, you don't know, and we all don't know. We might never know. But that's, I think, where it's sort of going. But like I said, you'll never know, and I think it's super exciting, because it's just, there's so much going on. That stallion that's just got breakthrough, that stable, you can't rein that back in now. She's gone. She's running wild, and that's the AI. It's like, you can't control that now. That is fully, and so you just have to surrender to it and be like, all right, how can we work with it, and just what's going to be beneficial to us, and see what else happens in the future, because at the moment, it's out of your control. Yeah.
And I think it's a very real concern to be like, have we kind of,
for sure,
created the next species that takes us over? I mean, we are
100%. I could see it going there.
We're the call it the top of the food chain, which we are, but that's because we're the smartest.
It's because of
we don't have wings, but we have a brain. We don't have claws, but we have a brain. This thing's going to have a bigger fucking brain.
And can work 24/7 without sleep, rooting, eating, all these things.
The only way is if we fully unplug everything, that we could probably stop this, of which by that stage that we go, oh, fuck, we should unplug the whole thing, they would have set up all their things to make sure we can't fucking unplug it. And don't worry about it, we're done. But, you could see that. You could do what we're doing and have a laugh and have a smile about it. Or you could sit there in a corner, rock back and forth and be like, what's the fucking point of everything? I'm like, there's plenty of point. We're not there yet.
That's right.
It may not end up like that. It may just end up being the case that we eliminate so much of the shit in the world and the shit jobs or the poverty or all these things, that we can live such an amazing life, and that maybe people in other countries can be blessed to live the life that we live in Australia, and that could be a more consistent thing globally. And even then, people in Australia that don't have it as nice as others, like all these things, I'm like, why don't we try and see it from this point of view, and how, like, sure, it's going to take jobs, but what does that actually mean? Does that mean that these people go without something, or does it mean that now they have so much more and they can kind of live just doing what they enjoy and play golf and fucking go to the gym and take, what is it? I don't know. I think you have to come in with a positive mindset, otherwise it's just going to eat you alive.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a guy, Marty Rawson, who's fairly tapped in spiritual dude, on our podcast, and he's gone to different sides of different dimensions, and there's a lot of, anyway, go listen to my podcast or the Life Experiment with Marty Rawson. You'll get a good gist of who he is. But he's very excited about, because he's very tapped in spiritually, and moving into the next dimension. So going into the third dimension, we're already in the third dimension, but the fourth and fifth dimension, there's so many different dimensions in this planet. And you're not aware of those other dimensions because we're not in it. So you can get there through breath work, through psychedelics like DMT, dimethyltryptamine, psilocybin, ayahuasca, all these things, and they can put you into that dimension very quickly, but they'll suck you back into, or through meditative state and breath work. But going back to Marty Rawson's, and he said we're moving into the fourth and fifth dimension, and people can say it's woo-woo, whatever it is, and it's exciting because what that means, it's going to be leaving a lot of shit behind, and exactly what you just tapped into there, all these people from other countries living the life that we can live, and there'll be a lot of equilibrium, there'll be a lot of balance, and there'll be a lot of love, and it'll be coming from, like, we're having this conversation and we're definitely on the same page, and just, hearts connected, just doing a thing, and there's no negativity, there's no anxiety, and like, why can't the whole world be like this? At the moment we're in the third dimension, and that is yin and yang, that is black and white, that is dark and evil, and that is light and heaven. So that's what we're on at the moment. So going into the fourth and fifth dimension, he talks a lot about, and it possibly could be in our lifetime, but we'll find out. But wouldn't that be a fucking amazing world to live in, where everyone's just connected and having a laugh and loving each other, and everything's all hunky dory? Like, I'd love to live in that world.
It would be so good. But then I wonder, once again, like, coming into just the curiosity around, like, what does that look like? How does that happen? I go, if we know so much about also like generational trauma and things like that get passed on, hatred is one of those massive ones. How do we eliminate that? Like, you've got what we see in the world right now. There's so much of that, whether specific events or not, or whether it's even in this country still. Everywhere in the world, there's hatred for reasons, for things that we've heard people say, and we adopt that belief just purely based on maybe what our parents said, or a friend or a teacher, they made a snark comment or whatever it was about a race or a gender or a religion or whatever it is. It's like, how do we actually, because that's still human, no matter what happens with a fucking robot or a bit of AI, like, that's still in our brain. So how do we, like, that, I think, is the big challenge. It's like that we've laid the possibilities out from a technological point of view that can really help disadvantage. Hopefully it stays cheap and people don't abuse the power of having these things and then make them expensive and then be like, nope, you can't have them. If everyone has it, we are still human at the end of the day. So how do we?
Yeah, well, going back to like what Marty Rawson was saying, the way I understood it was because going to that third dimension is that vibration of feeling hatred, of feeling that negativity, of feeling judgment, and you can have the choice to go down there, but then that's the third. And then the fourth and fifth dimension, that's when you're coming and you're rising above it and you're connecting to all these levels. So like, I've talked to a few other guys, and you've got the universe, which is uni, one verse, then you've got the multiverse, there's the multiverses, and there's all these things. And there's infinite possibilities of life throughout your life and decisions. So that's what I feel was happen, like that question you were just asking then. This is only my perspective, and what I feel is there's a possibility where you can go back down to that third dimension and there's hatred, there's judgment, there's fuck you, there's all these things. And then once you rise to those above dimensions, it's you're above that.
Like the enlightenment of it.
And there's a frequency that you're on that frequency. And exactly like a song, I'm a musician. Like, you have two chords that blend in perfectly. Sound, it's just harmony. It's just fucking lovely, right? And then, but when they're off, it just can't attract. And saying we're all energy at the end of the day and frequency. So that's the way I sort of see it coming back for some musician feel and you know, looking in that perspective. And then once you rise to that frequency, but I feel like it's you're going to be going back to the third dimension and fifth dimension. So there's going to be like this things, and I don't know really what's going to happen, but that's the way I sort of see it and understand it, because I don't know how the world just can't change and just go into the fifth dimension. Everyone has to be extinct. The whole world has to be gone. And then it's the next minute, then it's, you know, it's heaven on earth. It's all that. So that's why I'm super excited, because I don't know what's going to happen. Like, and I feel like there's a lot of stuff coming out with AI and podcasts of, like, the best thing about the podcast, we can talk about this openly, like, you know, try and talk about this on the news.
No one cares.
We'll get shut down. Or firstly, they wouldn't care. And secondly, we get shut down. So we can talk about mushrooms, and we can talk about AI, and we can talk about different dimensions, and people that want to listen can tune in, and they don't want to listen, that's fine too. That's their own journey. Yeah. And I'm super excited.
Head over to Jordan Checker Podcast to get the full exclusive experience.